Hi, it's Steve from fxpedalplanet, and today we've got Martin Klaja, gear demonstrator, to talk to us about pedals, guitars, effects, music, and everything else that we love. So please, hello, Martin.
Hello, guys. Hello, Steve. Thank you so much for having me.
You're absolutely welcome. Thanks so much. So, look, thanks very much for joining us. You've had all the questions, and we'll go through all those and get a little bit to find out a bit about you, the individual who's the guitarist who's making all these great gear demos and everything else. But before we go into that, I thought we might have a bit of fun, and we'll go in with the quick fire 10 questions. We've not done these for a while. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Excellent. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one, delay or reverb?
Definitely delay.
Excellent. I think I know what you're going to say for this next one from what conversation we've just had. So boost or overdrive?
Overdrive.
I knew you were going to say that. Okay, question 3. Now this is a bit tongue-in-cheek. We won't hold you to any, defamatory answers and things like that. So, Clon Centaur, myth or legend?
Ooh. Myth, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
New pedal day or new amp day?
New pedal day.
Yeah. Now again, next one's a bit tongue-in-cheek. So Metal Zone, classic or trash it?
Trash it.
Okay. Number 6, germanium or silicon?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think I'm gonna go with the silicon.
All right. Okay. Next one, fuzz before or after wah?
Before.
Okay. Digital or analog? Which do you prefer?
Ooh, yeah, that's a tricky one because I do a bit of both actually, but I prefer the analog.
True bypass or buffered? Now this one always divides opinion.
Oh yeah, and it also depends on what you're doing with the things, but I used to be a true bypass kind of guy, so I'm gonna go with that one.
All right then. And the last one, chorus or flanger?
Flanger.
All right. Okay. Well, you survived the quick fire 10. So now we can get on with
excellent.
You've survived that. So look, it's we want to find out about you and your music and everything. So for all us guitarists, I suppose it all really starts when we're youngsters, and we get to hear sort of music from either parents or siblings or what's coming over at the radio at the time. So what were those initial sounds for you that really got you hooked into music, and in particular guitar music?
Well, I've always been into guitar-driven music, so I've listened to a lot of bands, but I think I want to mention something like Guns N' Roses and the Appetite for Destruction album. Exactly, because that just did something to me. I was already playing the guitar just a little. I think I had an old acoustic guitar at that point in time and didn't really know what I was doing, just fiddling around. And then Slash came along and the Appetite for Destruction album came along, and then I was just hooked.
Yeah,
I just love that kind of it's not really heavy metal, hard rock music. That's my kind of thing. So that I think that was what got me started playing the electric guitar.
Slash is one of those guitarists that I mean, I love blues music. I love blues rock, and I agree with what you said there about Guns N' Roses. It's not like really heavy, and when it comes down to it, Slash is really a blues rocker, isn't he? You know,
Yeah, yeah,
he's very,
definitely.
you know, he can play blues.
Yeah,
He's very soulful in his playing, and he can also rip
very.
it up as well. He can also play fast as
Yeah,
well, can't he?
yeah, but in that bluesy rock kind of way, it's not that I don't actually like heavy metal music. I like listening to Pantera, and I like the Dimebag playing insanely fast guitar. I really like that. I enjoy listening to it. But that wasn't the thing that got me started. It was the hard rock thing that got me started.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I got into that. I mean, that around that sort of era, in the 80s and that, I
Mm.
was, I was, I wasn't so interested in that at the time, but I am now. You know, I was following other guitarists and other types of music, and it was really sort of probably 25, 30, well, about 25 years later on that I started to really appreciate Guns N' Roses and Slash,
Mm.
really. But
Yeah,
fantastic band and fantastic music.
yeah.
So what was your first introduction to guitar effects, and what sort of sounds and effects were you hearing initially that really kind of caught your imagination?
Well, I've always been into overdrive pedals, as we talked about, and so the very first pedal I got was a Boss DS1, you know, the yellow or orange, more orange one. And I think everyone who has touched an electric guitar has had that pedal at some point in time.
Yeah.
I was 15 years old or something, and I was at the time attending I believe you call it a boarding school.
Yeah.
It's a school where you go and live
Yep.
for a year. And I was 15 years old, and we were on a school trip to Paris. And we were a couple of guys who were very interested in guitars. So we went to Denmark Street, which is this famous street in Paris that has all the music stores. And I went in there and I spent almost all of the money I had for the entire trip on buying that orange Boss DS1 pedal.
Wow.
I just had to have that. So that was my introduction to effect pedals.
Yeah, wow. It is an absolute classic of a pedal, isn't it? So
It is. It is.
when did you start learning guitar? And what sort of was it? And was it really sort of Slash that really kind of made you pick up the guitar and start learning? Are you self-taught, or did you have lessons?
Well, I am primarily self-taught. I actually never really had a real lesson, but when I went to the boarding school, there were a couple of guys there who already played electric guitar, and you know they showed me an A chord and the minor pentatonic scale and all those things, and we just played along. None of us were very good, but we played and we played and we played and we played as often as possible. And there were instruments on the school, so we had access to an electric guitar and an amp. And we came home from Paris with the distortion pedal and plugged that in, and it was absolute heaven. So that's as 15 years old when I started playing for real, and then I have just played and played and played and watched a lot of guys play. And back then there was no YouTube, so it was kind of like you had to know someone or take lessons to figure out how to do these things. But I actually never have had any lessons. Just picked up stuff here and there, and
Yeah.
I don't know, figured it out by myself along the way.
I think it's a good way. It was somebody once said to me, because I'm pretty much, I had lessons for a few years, but I'm pretty much self-taught. And I was talking to an excellent guitarist quite recently, and she's self-taught. And she said that the thing is about being self-taught is the teacher's not actually very good, which is there's actually
Exactly.
there's some truth in that, isn't there?
Yeah.
But
I would, any day of the week, I would recommend anyone playing the guitar to get lessons, and
Yeah.
meet up with these guys that knows how to play these things and can teach you how to do them instead of fiddling around with it yourself, because doing that you get results much faster. But I think you need some basic tools to be able to do your own thing. You can't just do your own thing from nothing, if that makes any sense at all.
So what guitar effects, what sort of guitar effects do you like to use, and why?
Well, actually, I almost answered the question in the quick 10 thing you did. I love delays. I mean, I hardly ever play anything without delay. But then I don't use anything else. I use overdrives. I love overdrive pedals, and I love boost pedals, and I love things that can distort other things. I like that. And then delay. But we get to the board a little later, and you will see that there's actually nothing on there.
Yeah.
Well, compressor and shit and stuff. But delay, that is my thing. If I'm playing live, which I do not do very often because I'm not in a band at the moment, and I haven't been in a long while, and probably not going to be in a band ever again, perhaps, because I'm much more into this little studio thing I got going here, and recording guitars. So that's delays. And when I record guitars, I also use reverb, but that's in post-production in the computer.
Right. So
I've had a lot of these kind of like wet effects, flangers and phasers and choruses. I've had all of them, and I've had them on my pedal board. And then it's been a couple of months, and the thing hasn't been turned on. And then I ripped it off again. I just don't use those things. I don't know. It's just not my thing.
Right. So where did you get the inspiration? What was it about delay? I mean, Slash, he does use delay, but not overly.
Yeah, but not.
You know, if you look at other
Slash almost. I don't even know if he uses delay. But so it's not from there. I don't know. I think it's the volume, the delay. Not that the guitar gets louder, but it gets fuller when you use the delay. And I like that thing where you pick a note, you play a little riff or something, and then you let the delay fill in the blanks, so to speak. So you can play a little riff, bam, and then get the and then you have a little time to figure out what can I do next that fits over the part you just played. I just really like that delay thing.
Yeah, delay is nice, and you mentioned reverb.
Delay is nice, yes.
I love reverb as well. And reverb, and delay has come along leaps and bounds, particularly reverb, with all the ambient effects that you get with, and the octaves and things like that with reverb. So are you using both? Are you using digital and analog delays?
Actually, when it comes to delays, I prefer the digital ones. I've never really been a fan of the tape delay, but I've had a few guys come here in the studio. This is a completely different story, but I'm just going to tell it right now. Besides the demo, I have a show on my channel which is called Danske Guitarister, which is Danish guitar players. When I get different Danish guitar players to come here to my little studio, and then we do a little interview, and they play, and we talk pedals and guitars and amps and effects. It's kind of like the thing we're doing right now, but both physically in the same room. And a lot of these guys have brought along pedal boards which have had analog delay pedals on them. And I am beginning to understand what it is that people like about these, because they have something, they do something, and it's a cool thing. It just took me 35 years to get there.
Yeah, it's
because I like the I think it's the cleanness of the repeats in a digital pedal. I like that. I like that the delay sound is the same as the original sound. it's just always been my preferred way of using delay pedals.
Yeah, I mostly use analog, but you know,
Yeah,
if you're kind of using something for a while, then I switch over to my digital delay, and then all of a sudden it just sparks the inspiration again. And
yeah,
they are completely different, aren't they? Do you know what I mean?
they are very different.
You know, they're instantly recognizable.
Yeah,
And you know, but I love using them for different things. And so I tend to have my Boss DD6, I think it is, DD6 or
yeah,
DD5, whatever it is, and I'll tend to use that for short delays, you know, some slackback sort of types delays.
yeah, yeah,
And even if it's, you can, even with those types of short delays that are associated with sort of 50s music and that kind of genre, but even if you just put a short delay on, you can use it on other genres of music as well to, again, just fill out that your lead playing. You know, they're
yeah,
great tools for that, aren't they?
yeah. Excellent tools.
Yeah.
Excellent tools.
And
I think when you work with the digital and the analog effects, if you, like you said, you get used to one of them. I'm used to the digital one where the repeats are almost exactly the same. So when I plug in an analog delay, it sounds wrong to me. It's I know it's not broken, but it sounds kind of broken, and I think, nah, better go back to the digital one again.